According to me, today, maximum that Muslims are being persecuted is in Xinjiang, China. Uyghur Muslims. Muslims are being persecuted in Myanmar a lot, in Palestine a lot, but in China, it is on different levels. At least in Palestine, the Muslims can pray Salah. Correct? They can say Allahu Akbar. They can fast. They can read the Quran. They can get the contentment in their heart. They are being persecuted without doubt. But in China, they are systematically trying to exterminate them. They are actually Turkish people, Eastern Turkestan. The Uyghur Muslim nowadays, most of them cannot even offer Salah. They're not allowed to fast. They are forced to have food during Ramadan. Many are forced to have alcohol. They aren't allowed to learn Arabic. And if they don't listen to the authorities, they are put into concentration camps.
Some Muslims that were Uyghur, and they told me about the state of the Muslims in that province of what is now claimed to be China, which isn't really China. And the state of those Muslims, the fact that they can't even go pray, the way there's military presence outside their masajid. So many masjids are being destroyed, like just destroyed. The fact that we even have the blessing of standing in the house of Allah and sitting and listening to a khutbah in the house of Allah, we take that for granted. There are people today, right now, in the world, who cannot go there unless they risk their life. There are people who, if you find copies of Quran, if you find a tafsir of the Quran, then your family can disappear. Your family can disappear. This is the state of the Muslims. This is how they're living. There are places, in Ramadan, they force them. They have these beer drinking contests during the fast. And they force the men to drink beer publicly. And if they don't, their families will disappear. And they force this on the Muslims. This is the state of those Muslims. What's happening in so many places in the world doesn't even make it to the news. It won't make it to the news. And these catastrophes that are happening, at the very least, everybody says, we got to do something, we got to do something. And yes, we have to do something. And the very least we can do is make dua.
That there are those who are not able to display their Islam. There are those who are being persecuted simply for the crime, quote unquote, of reading the Quran, of growing a beard, of going to the masjid, of having gone for Hajj and Umrah 10, 15, 20 years ago. I speak, dear brothers and sisters, of our Uyghur brothers and sisters in China. I speak of mass persecution, the likes of which has not taken place since World War II. What the United Nations has documented the reality of what is happening. Over 1 million people, Muslims, Uyghurs, have been gathered up and thrown into what they call education camps, which are nothing but concentration camps. They have been separated from their families. Children have been taken away from parents and put into households of the Han Chinese. Our young sisters have been taken and forcibly married into the broader population. And those children, our sisters, the people in the concentration camps, they are forbidden from anything that is remotely religious. No Quran, no Salah, no Kalima. They're forced to eat pork. They're forced to drink alcohol. They are being deprogrammed. They want to kill the spirit of Islam. They want to kill the religion of these people. And for the last decade, they have been doing this right under the noses of the entire world.
Uyghur brothers and sisters in particular, who don't get much attention, even though this is the worst situation of religious persecution that exists in the world today. So those who champion religious freedom somehow omit this. We have millions of people in concentration camps because of their religious identity, being forced into chambers to relinquish their religion, to relinquish their identity, and have been through all sorts of horrors while there is silence. The irony, as I said in the rally, is that they're too Muslim for China, but they're not Muslim enough for the Muslim world to champion.
Population is 30 million, and then our country has been occupied by Communist Party China in past 70 years, and they have been doing everything possible to finish us, to wipe our people out of earth. As all you have know that Uyghur men are in millions in concentration camps, women are in concentration camps, and they have not stopped just by that. They're putting our children into concentration camps. They're raising our children with Chinese ideology. Our girls are being forced to marry Han Chinese. So the newborn Uyghurs are not Uyghurs anymore. They're not Muslim anymore. They're not Mu'min anymore. Uyghurs cannot practice Islam. We cannot even say Assalamu alaikum to each other. We cannot learn our own language. We cannot practice Islam at all. We don't see what's really going on. Like 30 million Muslims are suffering, and all we care about if Islam is abusing women, if Islam is abusing men, is that the only problem that we should face? Prophet ﷺ said, Muslims are like one body. If one part of the body hurts, entire body should hurt. Are we leaping upon 30 million Uyghurs back home who are suffering from the brutal killings and torture of Chinese government? And we all know that, and we all say, may Allah help you. Is may Allah help you enough?
Black and white. And notice telling people living in this village that certain religious practices are banned. At this point here at number 10 says that the wearing of long beards for young men is not to be allowed. Close by, we find one of Xinjiang's many re-education camps into which hundreds of thousands of Uyghurs, Kazakhs and other Muslim minorities have disappeared. And there's this. Right across the region, mosques are being destroyed. Over the past 2 years in cities, towns and villages, dozens of religious sites once clearly visible on satellite images have been turned into patches of bare earth.
Because there are cameras all over the place. Every moment of yours is being tracked. They don't even look like traditional mosques because the minarets and domes have been destroyed. These are the mosques lucky enough to survive, but most of them end up in a pile of rubble. In 2018, China demolished a mosque in Xinjiang's Atush region. Last year, they built a public toilet on the same spot. In 2019, another mosque gave way to an alcohol and cigarette store. Do you see the pattern here? China does not just want to eliminate Uyghurs, it wants to humiliate them. Build toilets where places of worship once were.
Trying to build the first and the very first Uyghur Islamic Center in Northern America, located in Fairfax, Virginia. As you guys know, China is demolishing all the masjids in back home, killing Uyghurs, putting them into camps. So we are here saying to China that they cannot finish us. So we are here want to rebuild Uyghur Muslims, inshallah, and purchase this
masjid. After 20 years of hard work and striving for the sake of Allah, the Uyghur community in the DMV has a masjid to worship Allah. This is in Virginia, a place where they can learn the deen in their own language, a language being mercilessly eradicated by the kuffar. The masjid provides spiritual guidance and a place to worship for all Uyghurs and other Muslims nearby. It also offers daily iftar in Ramadan. The Taraweeh is led by American-born and raised Uyghur Hufaz brothers. Outside of Ramadan, this masjid offers a range of beautiful programming, including Jummah khutbahs, classes of Quran, halaqas, and Quran competitions, women and children-specific programming, community gathering, and activities for all. This is a beautiful opportunity to support the Uyghur community as they grow beyond their persecution. Our Uyghur brothers and sisters want to build a permanent place for the community. The goal is to purchase the property with the sole intention to create a safe and welcoming masjid for all to worship Allah. Please help us reach this goal by sharing this campaign and supporting with whatever you can. You can donate to the masjid accounts through Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App at donations at UyghurMasjid.com. Jazakallah. Salam alaikum.